A very good evening and welcome to everybody to our Power of Stories series. And this is number 2 in our whole series. Thank you for joining us. We've got 4 very inspiring leaders from Lifeplus with us tonight who are going to share some of their history, some of their background, some information and some inspiration so that it helps all of us to understand how to maximize the opportunity with Lifeplus and how we can inspire other people to get started and to make healthy choices and to make the most of unlocking the wellness within them with Lifeplus. And so without further ado, I'm going to welcome our first guest, somebody who is quite familiar to people who've been around for Lifeplus for some time. She's been with Lifeplus more than 25 years. Welcome, Gabi Steiner. Hello, Gabi. How are you?
Hello, Malcolm. Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy about this.
Thank you for joining us from Florida, I think. And how did you get started with Lifeplus, Gabi?
Yeah, this was a very interesting story. My interest is always in nutrition since 55 years now. I will be 70 this year. And in 1993, I had the good luck I could make my hobby to a job. So I started with a direct selling company. And I was very successful, but not my people, because the problem was a huge front loading. So we had, so to say, front loading means you had to buy a lot of products to get the commission. And that was something that was circumstances that the most people, I had a lot of mothers, single mothers and mothers with children, so they couldn't do this. They couldn't afford this big amount what they have to buy and sell then. So I was not really happy. And in 1999, I met Lifeplus, and I saw first what I saw is the products. There was on this time, the For Young Skin formula caught my attention, and I was 44, and I thought I need that. And the second was the compensation plan. There was described with just 120 Deutsche Mark, what is today now $60 or 60 euro, you can earn 3 levels. For me, was so great. So I started then, and I was really happy. My team really grew very, very quick, very quick. And so my goal, it was not my goal, but by accident, my team grew to Mallorca, Spain. And as the most German people, that was one of my goals, to live in the sun, at the sea. So, and then I was really happy to make a business trip to Mallorca. And it was in 2001, we made our first trip to Mallorca. And then was a dream was born. I want to live there. And so in 2002, we bought our first house, a smaller one, in Mallorca. And so the next 20 years we used to live in Mallorca. And it leads me to our first guest. She was the first Spanish diamond. And it happens that we bought a house in 2005. And in 2013, we are going to renovate it. And I have to buy a lot of things like furniture, like the curtains and everything. So I go in a furniture home, and there was Rosa, the next guest. She was there employed. And so we are maybe 2-3 times per week we are there. And she was really great in her job. And one day she asked me, "What are you doing?" And so we met, and first she wants to meet, she wants all the information in the first day. So we met in the evening. She started, and today she's a 3-star diamond. And I always say, when I tell this story, and I love to tell this story, I say always, so it costs me a fortune to buy all this stuff and all this furniture, but in the meantime, she paid it 100 times back. So Rosa, it's your turn. I'm really happy to meet you in this time, and it was just like it is. I get always the question, what is the best approach? And I can tell you, to the right people, you cannot say wrong words, and you cannot say right words to the wrong people. And it's a question of the timing. And the timing was exactly the right one. Yeah, Rosa was open, she was listening, she appreciated this opportunity. And we had, from first day on, we had just fun.
That's true, Gabi. Really, I love to hear you when you're telling this story. At first, I want to say thank you, Malcolm and Lifeplus, for this invitation, for sharing my story. And I be also very thankful to Gabi. She was the person who brings me sunshine in a time it was very hard for us, and my skin reflecting all these troubles that we have. We passed through a crisis 10, 15 years ago, and it hit us very hard. So to meet Gabi, for me, it was a gift from the heaven. And from there, I want also to be sunshine for the people, to show them the right way with light, and to be and give also this warmness that I received from Gabi. I have always to say, the products, the quality, Lifeplus is amazing. But I'm really here because of her. The first that I bought for her, I say it often. And Gabi, in your first book, in your second basics, in the first pages, you wrote about that. You said the people always remember only how you make them feel, and she is amazing in that. And I want to be near from persons like her. So I think we are like magnetism for the person. And when we then make an amazing experience like I have done with the products, then it's like top.
Right. So when did you start, Rosa? When did you get started with Lifeplus? What year was that?
Yes, I have to say, I came home with a book of Gabi. She gave it to me. And at this moment, I was a little bit tired. But the father of my 3 children will live here in Mallorca. I didn't say this. So he takes the book, and I have never seen him read a book, really. And he sits down at the night in the bed, take the book, and I thought, oh, he's reading, but I think he will not finish it. He finished the book in the whole night. He couldn't take it away. And at the morning, he says to me, I have read this book. This is very good. This has to be amazing. And I remember when I take the book of Gabi, I saw the book and I said to me, oh, she looks much younger now than in the book. So I thought this too. I thought this has to works because I see it. And I start, Malcolm, after, I would say, 1 year, really, because my job takes all my energy, and I recommended it because the people asking me, it was not necessary that someone pay me for be a good person, but I did it and I received money. And I couldn't believe that Lifeplus pay me more than I buying my products. So for me, it was clear it works.
Right. Yeah. It's a very cool system with very low risk, and it works through recommendation and referral. And then if when people buy, if they buy with your code, you get a commission based on that. So that's great. Well, thank you for sharing that, Rosa, and thank you, Gabi, as well. We'll come back to you both shortly with some questions, but I want to bring on our next guest, and that is Judith Knapp. So welcome, Judith, and welcome. How did you get started with Lifeplus, Judith?
Well, until I really got started, that took me a while. Good evening, everybody. And I'm very pleased to be here, very honored to be surrounded by these inspiring people sharing stories. And Yeah, for me, it was really not easy to start. I got in contact with, when I moved here to the island, I'm also living in Mallorca. I'm German. I'm a physiotherapist by profession, but by then I ran a gallery of African art. And I moved to the island for love, really. And when I came here, my gallery wasn't here and I had no contacts, and I wanted to establish a new network of people, and I was just looking for an occupation. And the few people that I knew, I asked if they knew something. And the secretary of the father of my kids, she gave me the book of Gabi. And the funny thing is, I really didn't like the looks of the book. So I was not even wanting to look inside. There was something that didn't call me. I think it's a beautiful book, but it didn't call me. So I just didn't think it was something serious and thought, poor thing, she was on something that was not very, well, it just didn't appear. So I didn't pay attention. But then she invited me to another event, and that's, I think, something which I would straight away say that was the smart thing to do. She saw there was no interest on the one end, so she put me on the other end. That was the health. And she invited me to a talk about healthy gut systems. And I was like very interested because I was challenged by my stomach. And then everything I heard was resonating with me. And I thought, why don't give it a try? And if she benefits from it, because by then I had looked a little bit into the book, that's great. I'm happy for her to benefit, and wonderful. So that's how I really got in touch with the products. And then I got a stunning result, totally surprising to me, because I had been trying so many things to solve my problem and nothing had worked alike. So that was such a confidence giver that I started reading the book properly. And then I thought, okay, if it's true, it's great, but I didn't believe it. And what I did then is go and see Gabi Steiner and ask her questions, very critical questions. And she was happy with me asking critical questions. So that's the next thing I would recommend to everybody. Just ask your questions that you have and don't be shy to ask, because you get good answers. And she said, if you keep on asking and find out. And once I cleared out that actually the problem was myself, that's when I then finally started. Also, because my situation changed, because I fell pregnant. And I couldn't go on with my African art thing because that was too much traveling with a baby, and I didn't see that happening. And I wanted to maintain independent, have my own project, and I wanted to have time for the kid. And it seemed that other people being in this project had that. They had that money and they would work with teams and things would work out very well for them. Their lifestyle was good. And I got taken by the hand then by some mentor, my upline, and she just helped me step by step, showed me. And even though I doubted very much that it would work, in the end it did work. And I'm very grateful that I have started and that I gave it that serious go at a certain moment of time, because my life has changed a lot with it, and I'm deeply grateful for it.
Yeah, and we're grateful too. I think in general, I mean, there are some exceptions, but it does start quite slowly, right? I think on our last call, Gabi said that you've got to give it some time so that it gains some momentum, and you've got to get confidence in yourself, in the products, the company, and the concept, right?
Yeah, in my case, I was rather slow. I saw other people being much quicker, and that was fine. Nobody was stressed about it. Nobody was giving me any stress. I just went my rhythm. And now I'm like crazy that I didn't go faster, because it was rather stupid to not go faster. But there you go. Yes, and then on that way, well, I'm just going to introduce Natalie, because that is such a gift I got from Lifeplus, really. She's one of the people, I didn't know her personally. She was just a common friend of or she was the friend of one of my partners in Tenerife. So she was one of the best friends of her and was introduced to me like that. And I like that very much too, because suddenly it becomes this friends of friends thing. And you meet these lovely, lovely people. And when I met her, she was rather interested in the well-being aspect of everything and not in anything else. She was this very busy, very successful top business lady, not having time for anything. And she was just interested in giving herself a boost on the health. And later on, things changed, but let her tell the story herself. And let's listen to what Natalie can tell us. And I have to say, I'm very it's one of those big gifts, meeting people that then become friends over time and you share those lovely experiences with.
Thank you, Judith, for the introduction, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Malcolm, for inviting me to this Power of the Story series and giving me this opportunity to tell my story in the company of these amazing ladies that I really admire so much. I really can't find the words to stress so much how grateful I am to getting the opportunity to be introduced into this amazing life concept. That's how I can resume it. And I'm so happy to have taken the decision. This was 5 years ago. Back then, my life was very different. My area of expertise has been events management and protocol. I worked for 15 years in the Tenerife government as part of the president's team. I was his chief of protocol, which pretty much involved organizing all the institutional events around the island. It's a job that I absolutely loved, very demanding, very stressful. Back then, I thought I was living great quality of life in the sense that I was measuring my quality of life because of my social status or my income. I was lucky enough to have good jobs with good salaries. Now, today, I really understand what quality of life means, because back then I had absolutely no time. I didn't know what time was outside of work. And I did have a lot of stress, which meant that this was taking a toll in my health. And this was my doorway of entry into this concept. My best friend Alicia said, you should try some of these products. And I really have to stress the fact that this came from my best friend, because I probably would never have even paid much attention to this if it was not coming from somebody who I really trusted. She had tried the products. She was looking amazing. That's all that I needed. I trusted and I tried them. And we have mentioned already about the amazing quality behind the products, how well they work. And that was it. I was absolutely falling in love with them from the first minute. Now, regarding the business aspect, Gabi Steiner, she mentioned the timing before. And at that time, it was not my right time. I still had quite a lot of ideas and judgmental ideas about what this kind of business could be. So time went by and circumstances in my life changed. In this case, COVID hit, right? I had been 6 months trying the products. COVID hit, so the world was confined. And in my case, I was working with events. Obviously, there were no more events. So my income was reduced to a half. And this awakened in me the need and the curiosity to see if I could actually take this and make it a success in terms of earning some money, right? I think it was more the curiosity out of listening to all these inspirational stories, learning about all these success stories. Could I also be one of those people? Could I try and see if this worked for me? So I gave myself a year of time to learn and put myself to work, put my focus into it, learn from the best, and can't say more than that. Before, I could pretty much say I was changing my time for money. Today, I'm gaining time, gaining money. I've recovered my health. I'm about to turn 50, and this is probably the best time of my life. Never felt better. Making friends from all over the world, and also undergoing an amazing personal growth and development. Perfect. So I can only say, this is a great opportunity for everyone, low risk, as you mentioned. And in any case, if there's anything to lose, I would say it's either kilos or wrinkles, nothing else.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. And thank you, everybody, for sharing your backstory. That's wonderful. And I think, as you've touched on there, Natalie, I think all of you have touched on actually is this excitement over having a plan B. You mentioned the pandemic and the need for another income, more time, more free time, to be able to do the things you want to do. And I think I think a lot of people come to Lifeplus for those things, or more people, particularly today when there's so much change in the world. So for somebody getting started, Gabi, how if you've got somebody who's hungry to have that extra income or to have more free time, what's your number one tip for somebody who's just got started with Lifeplus?
I tell him, make a decision. So make a decision. Natalie said a good thing. She gave her a year. And this is what I always see. Some people, they did not even start, they did not even look, but they know that they cannot do it. And I think, what? When you do a normal education, you have maybe minimum 3 years, or when you study, you have 6 or more years. And then you just start to earn money. Here, you have also maybe a year. You don't need a year, but I think make a minimum a year and then do the things, first steps. So look that you get, that you know that the products are good. So visit meetings, look to others, listen to stories. So try the products, of course, so that your gut feeling is positive. So, and if you realize that the products are really good, that's a fine thing. So look at the company, look to Malcolm, look to all the Zooms, do all the things we have after 25 years or 26 now nearly. We have a great system. So we provide every week Zooms, and I'm happy that you start now with English because we have it in German. But you know, I have maybe 1,000 diamonds in common, and then there are maybe 20 in Spain. And this is so the opportunity is so huge because Spanish is much more spoken in the world like German. And this is the potential is so big. So work close with your sponsor together. Listen what he said. And that it doesn't matter what you have been before, how successful you are. This is completely different. Here is not important how good you are. Here is important how duplicatable you are. If you are too how to say, too clever, maybe you are not duplicatable. So it's very important to keep it simple so everyone can do it. And this is what we have to learn. Yeah.
So when you get started and you've got confidence in the product and the company, who do you then talk to? Do you talk to strangers or do you talk to people you know? Somebody I spoke to recently said, I'm going to talk to my people I don't know online because I can't mess it up then. And I said, I don't think so.
That's great. That's a lot of people think that way. So I was told you need just 5 people, and I know I will have 5 friends. And if I have a gold mine, if I discover a gold mine, I will not ask someone I don't know. I think one of the biggest things, the biggest benefit is that you can choose the people you want to work with. So, and that for me is close friends. I did not sponsor all my friends, but all the people I sponsored are in the meantime, they became friends. And this is, so we need to change our thinking. We have just 5. Start with the people you love and you like to have around you. I want to, I take the nice people, the people I really love to work with.
Right.
Then is no work because with Rosa, we have a lot of fun together. Today, when we meet, we play cards, we do a lot of things together. And then, because the business, I don't need to teach her anything after 13 years or now it's 12 years now. So this is why we have fun together. And the more we like the people and have fun, the more successful they are.
Right. And Rosa, how about you? I mean, you've got a lot of experience. What would your top tip, your recommendation, or your secret to success be?
There's a lot of them. Yes, Gabi, you says you have. I have a lot to learn. Even I think the capacity the people has to know that they always has to learn something new. And when I met Gabi, even when we play cards, you can't imagine how much information I get from her, how many things I learn. You know it. And I think this is the first step. You never will know it all. Be a person who are open to learn, open to hear, and open to admit that Sometimes he can make the things on another way. It's not that you make it on the wrong way. Simple, keep it simple, of course, and you have to know that you can do the things always better. Always, what I also have seen is that the people are not honest with themselves. They say they do the things, but in Gabi's book, she wrote the difference between saying doing and doing are the results. So the results will speak, will tell you if you do it or not do it. And sometimes be honest with yourself and take a decision, how Gabi says, and then a compromise to do these things other people doing for being there where they are.
Right. Good advice. Yeah, thank you. And Natalie, how about you? Can you remember the first 5 people you sponsored and how that took and who they were and how that went?
I remember the first 5 people I spoke to, not necessarily the first 5 I sponsored. But yeah, I remember that I actually felt more comfortable speaking to people who, being close friends, there were also people who I hadn't spoken to for a long time, right? So it was like not too close and yet not too distant. It was for me easy just to, grab the phone and say, haven't seen each other for such a long time. It would be great to see each other, meet and catch up, and so I can tell you what it is that I'm doing now. So that was my easy way. And of course, over time, then, it's really all about sharing the opportunity with just about everyone and not prejudging who could be suitable for the project, because I've also had great surprises along the way, learning that people who you might think would not be suitable turn out to be actually the best. Right? So it's pretty much like opening a box of chocolates, right? Yeah. And just trying out everyone and just waiting for the surprise, see what happens.
And this is January. We can't talk about opening a box of chocolates in January. It needs to be something else. We're all on diets in January. That's the challenge. But yeah, no, I get that. That's cool. But what about the rejection element, though? People are afraid of rejection. So you pick up the phone, you talk to one of those friends, and what's the risk there? Maybe Gabi, is that a question for you, Gabi, or do you feel one to pick up?
Yeah, I wrote in my book, there is a special chapter where I say how to avoid a no. So there are different ways. So when I tell, for example, when I tell my story, their own story is the best way to avoid a no. When I met someone and I said, oh, I'm so happy. My situation in my job was really not really good. I have no connection with my boss, and now I'm really happy because I find the solution. I build now, I have a second income, and I'm really positive that end of the year it will be my first income. So can someone say no?
Right. No, of course not.
So their own story, and this is really most people don't see that. Their own story, if this story is good and it's the first job with your sponsor, create your story. It's not like you create and it's a lie, but you find the right words, not too long, not too short, enough that they get curious. And when he asks me, oh, what is it? And I tell him, then it's not a hard no. It's
right.
Maybe, okay, I said the right time, not yet books. It's very important.
Right,
so I
sure.
use some special techniques because I'm very shy. Some people don't believe me, but in my first book, I wrote a chapter about snail technique. Snail technique means like when a snail go to something, just go back. And this is if you have someone who is any resistance, just stop.
Just go back. Don't risk them.
Don't risk a discussion. Yeah. And if you don't tell more, if you don't go further, they stay with their curiosity. They don't know about it. Maybe they go home and then they said, oh shit, now I don't know what she wants to tell me. And maybe they come back and say, okay, tell me more. And then you can say, oh, today. This is what I describe. There's some techniques you can avoid a no. Sure. There are some people, they don't mind. But there are
Right.
some peoples like me, they don't want. And for this, there is enough options. First, own story. That's the best tip. If this story is good and you tell it, the people can ask or they can't ask. The thing is,
Right.
you talk anyway, 15,000 words per day.
Right.
Doesn't if it's 5 more, and it's
Right. Thank you, Gabi. And Judith, how about you? I know you and I have been talking this week about events and things, and how do you see the value in? We talked about it earlier on the call, actually, the value of events and the importance of person-to-person contact.
Well, I can tell you the event thing is one of the most moving ones there is. On the events, the new leaders are born. That's what you can read in any networking book. And in my case, it was like that. I needed to go to an event and see with my own eyes and feel with my own heart and make up my own opinion on it by seeing lots of people and getting the vibe from the big picture. And I mean, luckily, there's events in front of us of all sorts. I know that there's international events. For me, the most exciting one right now is Barcelona coming up. I mean, can't wait to be there. Can't wait to take lots of people so that they get that opportunity to see with their own eyes and feel with their own heart. And
on that, there are some tickets still available for Barcelona if people want to come. That's on the 15th of February, and Rosa and Natalie and Judith will be there speaking English or Spanish. I'm still trying to persuade Gabi to be there. Are you going to come to Barcelona on the 15th, Gabi?
Maybe maybe things change. You know, I'm in Florida, but things change.
Well,
when I'm in Europe, could be.
So on the basis of a maybe, I would buy a ticket for the event in Barcelona and get to Barcelona, which is a small, cozy meeting and very intimate and a great opportunity to meet Robert and Dr. Anya and people from the company as well. So back to you, Judith.
I need to add something on there, because what happened to me also many times on the events, that once I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, why didn't I bring that person? Why didn't I tell that other person? So now is the time to speak to everybody up front and move them now, and make sure that you are there with friends and that they can see and feel with their own being, because there's nothing like an event to feel it, really.
And many of the events that we do in Germany, I was just in Fellbach for the kickoff at the weekend, and there were 1,500 people there or something. The maximum number of people who will be in Barcelona is 500. So it's a real opportunity to make some good connections with people. So anyway, thank you for that. What about the future then? Sticking with you, Judith, what's your future vision for Lifeplus? How do you see the future?
Oh, it doesn't fit in anywhere. It's so big. I know that we are growing in all areas. I mean, my personal vision with it is enormous. I'm so happy that I'm here. And what I see for the future is keeping on growing teams, making people, helping others to get into that same position we are all in, and keeping it very simple. And I know that there is a lot of support happening from Lifeplus, which I find the most amazing thing. There's always this close contact. There's always being listened to. We get new tools. There's new products. There is always something happening. And the future is going to be amazing, because I know that the vision of the company as well, just as Robert shared in the kickoff of the year, he's planning on long future and
decades. He's planning on decades. So we've been around for 33 years, but he talked about laying the foundations for the coming decades, and that's a true vision. So
yes, and it gives me a very safe feeling, and I think it is something that in these uncertain times is great to have, and everybody will be more and more and more interested in true health. So we have something to offer that is amazing. Also, in terms of the extra income in the future is going to be more of a topic, I believe. I can see now in my surrounding how everybody is more open to that. And then the community, I mean, that is something of such value that I have totally underestimated in the beginning. When I realized being in Tenerife, having my big team there, that I could move to Tenerife today and have a build-up social circle. That is something of such big value, and you're not moving somewhere where you don't know anybody, but you know the locals, and then there's a relationship with these people. And when we go to the States or wherever we're moving, Austria, Germany, France, Italy, whatever, you come into houses of people that are the friends of your friends. And
Right.
what a future to have with such a
Right.
community as well.
Exactly. How about you, Natalie? What is your vision for your Lifeplus?
I have to mention that since this is all about relationships and about real and strong contacts with people, and this is something which I love, Rosa always mentions it. We're now living times where people are just losing that kind of touch, right? And Lifeplus is all about building true, strong relationships with people. So there's so much power behind that. And part of success here is learning about that, making true friends, listening attentively, just showing people how much you really care. And I think that's something very exciting for us to look after and to keep and to maintain and inspire towards the future.
As Robert Christian always says, it's about doing the right things right and having a long-term vision and taking care of people. And I think that's really important. So, Rosa, how about you? What's your thoughts for the future?
I think we hear a lot of things. I can maybe add that we are the future, because more and more the shop closed and more the people buy online a lot of things. And we are this piece who connecting people with the quality, with the spirit of Lifeplus. And I think this can any machine do for us. So I think in these times where the artificial intelligence I said right?
Yeah, you did perfectly. Yeah.
Understand me fine. So I think a lot of person are worried about that and feel fear about that. And I think we are in this way in advance. We have advantages.
Yeah.
Because nobody can contact with a person like the person do it. And
Right.
I recommend it to everybody. Read the book of Gabi, From Person to Person. There you will find it all and make you future sure more in these times where all is so unsure.
Right.
So,
Agreed. Perfect. And Gabi, how about you? You've as you say, this is your 26th year with Lifeplus, and you have, what do you say, 1,000 diamonds in your team, and many of those in Germany and Switzerland and Austria, a handful in Spain. What's the potential after 26 years?
That's huge, and I can say the situation changed in the last 5 years. The first 20 years are much harder than now, because the last 5 years we learned about the health, and a lot of people, they listen and they know now that we need an immune system. And so I think the times change. I think the times change. I was last week in a physiotherapist because of my shoulder, and she's customer. She was customer 6 years ago, and she told me. So by the way, she said, "Oh, Lifeplus will explode in the next years." And I said, here in America, and I said, "Why do you think?" She said, "Because we will get now a health minister. He took care to vitamins, to healthy nutrition, and to healthy food, and so on." And I thought about it, and maybe she's right. And so I'm sure the perspective, how we think about nutrition change, and that people get more and more open. And I think we are with the right thing in the right time, on the right place.
Right, absolutely.
I'm really happy. English, we can work worldwide. So there's no border. We have Spanish, we have tools in every language, and well, there's nothing
And that's
Limit,
one
no
of the
limit.
no limits. There we go, no limits. And I agree. I think that's one of the reasons we've come up with this English Cool, is because there is so much potential. You know, the map has been, the roadmap has been laid out, as you call it, the tools, the way of doing, the experience of 26 years is there, and actually the opportunity is open, whether that's in the UK, whether it's in France, whether it's in America, still in Spain, still in Poland and Czech Republic. We've got some people in Czech Republic, Italy, all of these countries. We're hugely excited to support those places with an open mind and an open heart. We're super proud at Lifeplus to have products that people take and they do notice a difference when they take them. We have an opportunity that is really low risk. We have a 30-day money back guarantee and we have experienced mentors that are there to take people by the hand and give people a helping hand and the knowledge of how to do that. So thank you. Before I move on to closing remarks, has anybody got some final words? Natalie, have you got any final words for our audience?
Ever since I learned about Bob Lemon's phrase, focus on what you want, that has also been my motto. I think it's all about focusing on those things, on your goals and dreams, and everything is possible here.
Agreed. Rosa, any final closing remarks from you?
I remember the words of Tim Nolan, one of the co-founders. He says, success has only 2 pages, and the first page is starts, and the second page you can read never stop.
Good advice.
I just want to say the same.
I want to say that since it's the power of stories, that when I got the invitation and so on, I thought really my story wouldn't be possible without many of those people in the audience. And it's really part of my story, stories of all these people out there, whether they are of my team or they are colleagues or inspiring other people that I had the chance to talk to. And I'm so deeply grateful for everyone that was part of that story. So just to make sure everybody understands, this is a 1 + 1 = 11 thing.
Right. Teamwork, truly teamwork. And Gabi, what final thoughts do you have?
I would say ask the people they are there where you want to be. Ask your sponsor. Take help. Really, it's very important. Don't try. There's a system. You don't need to try. We made a lot of, not errors. We find solutions. We find ways, but the ways are found now. And I think follow that. It's easier than you have to, then you want to make your own. You can make, but you can also listen to the sponsor and avoid the mistakes they are already done.
Learn from experience. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And a big thank you to everybody who's joined the Zoom tonight. I've had a lot of fun looking at the names popping up in the chat. I've seen people from Anki from Sweden. I've seen Mats from Sweden, Marie from France, lots of people from Spain, people from Italy. I saw somebody from New Zealand as well, which is pretty cool. I'm assuming that's somebody on holiday, unless it's somebody in our office in New Zealand that supports the Japanese market, which again, Japan is a market we're opening still further during the course of this year as well. There is so much potential, and thank you for sharing your experience, all 4 of you. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your words of wisdom in English as well. I know it's not your first language, although you all sound like native English speakers. No, honestly. We do hope everybody's enjoyed this Zoom. Seen some very positive feedback there. We have another one scheduled for February and another one that we're going to do in March as well. We have a mixology Zoom that we're doing on Tuesday, the 21st of June, where I'll have James Ellington and April Tacey, 2 professional athletes, sports people, joining me in St. Neots to make some of our favorite daily biobasics recipes, which should be fun. My challenge is making daily taste amazing.
Okay.
We have the Uzunami Martinez session for Spanish speakers, which I think is this Thursday. And of course, we have the event in Barcelona where you can come and meet Judith, Natalie, Rosa, and hopefully Gabi too. I'll be there, Robert will be there, Dr. Anya will be there, as well as a bunch of other people from Lifeplus joining us in spirit. Thank you very much. We're super happy to have hosted this again, and we wish everyone success. Reach out to your upline, your mentor, the person who introduced you to Lifeplus for more information, or any of us if we can help at all. So a big thank you from me, and thank you, Judith, Gabi, Rosa, and Natalie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Muchas gracias.